Hi guys! I'm so excited to create this really fun card. It's a great way to take a card from really simple and sweet and take it up a notch. So every time that we do a coffee and cards, I do it every week at my friend's coffee roaster called Ragamuffin Coffee Roasters. Isn't this the cutest cup? And I grab a coffee there, I take a coffee home. So I don't take my big shot, or sometimes I'll take punches, but it's kind of loud when you do that at a coffee store. So we do a very simple kiss card. Keep it simple stamper like so. This is using the new animal step set called Animal Outing. It is item number 146600. I love this set. Isn't it the cutest? First of all, Stampin' has always been known for their fine line drawing, so I'm excited to see us return to such gorgeous, gorgeous creations. Now, but if I were to send this out to somebody that I know and love, I would probably take it up a notch, and that's what we did with this card here. So as you can see, we added some embossing and die cutting, and it's the same kind of premise, but taken up a notch. Let me show you how we do that. So using our crumb cake cardstock and our Wild About You, I have this cut and scored at 4 inches by 5 1/4. In this card here, this would go behind the Whisper White cardstock that I have at 3 3/4 by 5. So since we're flipping it around a little bit, we're going to keep the same size card. I did not want to whip out my big shot for you because I think you kind of figure out how the turning mechanism works. So what you do is you stamp your paper like so. Our gorgeous crumb cake cardstock is one of my favorite colors, and this is with the black Stays On ink pad. It smells heavenly, just like almonds. This is our great Woodlands embossing folder. I love it, and you can stamp first and then you can emboss. I want to show you two things that I did. Actually, what I did first was I stamped it, then I die cut it, so that I could create this background. I wanted a window card, and I'm using the large oval and the stitched shaped framelits. And the reason I'm using that is because I wanted to use this image on another card. Isn't that really fun? You die cut it first, and then you emboss it. That keeps the structure of the card. So you would stamp it, die cut it, and then you're going to emboss it, and it will come out like so. This is a really pretty little image on its own. It's very masculine. You could do a lot of fun with this. And so what we're going to do is take our thick Whisper White cardstock, and we're going to, I've already scored it at 4 1/4 and cut it at 5 1/2. We're gonna fold this along the edge and use a bone folder to crisp the edge. You don't have to press really hard, and I do it across the back. So usually I'm on point with my cutting, but sometimes you'll see a little lip that comes over, and I always want to throw that on the back, the short side. So we have this here, and now we have our die cut and embossed piece of cardstock. We're going to use a fine tipped pencil. I have this really pretty pencil, but it's a 0.5 millimeter lead. And I'm going to lightly draw, just really lightly, where I want my kangaroo. And you can eventually erase that. I find I don't need to because it's really easy to use. We're going to use the Stays On black ink pad, and it comes with a plastic liner that helps to seal it. I attach mine with Stampin' Dimensional so that it always stays in there and I don't lose it, especially when I'm crafting with my friends. It's a solvent archival ink, so it is alcohol based and it is perfect for watercoloring. It will not run. We're gonna place this little guy and girl, or two guys. It's a guy and a girl, mom and a little puppy, a little koala bear baby. And we're gonna place it right in the middle. And then I close it up. You don't have to close it up right away, but I do. The reason being is I am inclined to lose things, believe it or not. If you saw my stamping table, you'd know why. And this prevents me from doing that, which is really important. This is an aqua painter. It's one of my favorite tools for coloring. What we're gonna do is I always put the lid on the back because, again, did I tell you I'm inclined to losing things? And I've had these aqua painters for years. I recently just ordered, I was so excited, a new set. And every once in a while you want to order new ones because even though they still work, they're much prettier when they're new. I'm going to go in and I'm going to color just the shadowed portions. So if you see here, let me see if I can focus that a little bit. The little koala, I'm going to get his natural shadow, his eye and eyebrow, his ear, and his nose. And then I'm going to do a second color. So once you have the shadow colored just like so, when you go to apply a second coat, I'm going to put this down and kind of zoom in a little bit. Let me see here. Once you put the second coat, it creates a natural shadow. You want your aqua painter almost dry, just damp. You don't need it super wet. I'm using here Smoky Slate ink pad. I just squeeze the ink pad and I put the color into the center. This is the old ink pad, but Stampin' Up! Has new beautiful ink pads that make me so happy. So recently, a friend of mine, actually I have a couple friends who are in the process of adopting children. And so these young moms taking on adoption is just such a beautiful thing. And when I see these two together, it reminds me of these great girls that are just phenomenal. If I could, I think I would adopt. My husband says that our family's full enough. We'll see. Maybe down the line, right? I don't know. Maybe I'll get busy with grandkids. If you guys don't know it, I'm a mom of 6. I have 5 daughters and 1 son. And I am so blessed beyond measure with my fam. Love them. So then we've applied, again, the second coat here, and then first coat, and then we're going to go apply the second coat. We're going to pull that color. Now this is on the thick Whisper White cardstock base, and I don't want to get it sopping wet. I just want to go pretty quickly like so. I love the soft look of an aqua painter. It is just really soothing to me to do this technique. I don't know about you, I may not be an artist. I have a friend who's an amazing artist. Her name is Wendy Cabin, and she teaches art classes to, my kids will be taking art classes with her in the new year, well, new school year when that starts. And I homeschool our youngest 4 kids. They used to be in public school, and now we're homeschooling. So it's awesome because then I can pick exactly the classes I want for them. I have another friend who's an amazing chalk artist. Her name is Dawn Wagner. And so we are just surrounded by such artists. I like to think that if you surround yourself with art, you're inspired to create something beautiful. I may not be able to draw like them. That's why I stamp, people. That is why I stamp. I may appreciate art. Now I'm looking for the natural shadow in this card. I'm going to kind of go around the tail here, and I'm creating a light source where the light kind of would fall naturally. And you want to do that. Like her paw out here would probably be a little bit darker, and then down here towards the bottom, because we all have that mom pooch. I'm working to fix it, but my youngest is 7, so I don't have an excuse. I do have excuses. They're just not valid. Then we're going to take the same crumb cake, and we're going to pull it underneath of her in a little, like, even though it's the same color, because I'm diluting it a little bit and streaking it out, I want to fill in this bottom here. Not too wet. You really want to go simple, simple, simple here. And you can follow where the shadow is of her tail, like kind of pull it up a little bit. But remember, you have this oval that's going to go right there. I love it. So this reminds me of my girlfriends who are adopting. Isn't that a great idea? Give somebody something like this. I think I'm going to send it to them because they are amazing. You can see I stamped a little bit too low, so I re-stamped the other side of the cardstock. We're going to use our Stampin' Dimensional Adhesive, and this is going to give us a great shadow, but it's also going to frame out that card. So when you have die cut or embossed or both, like on this card, a handmade card, you want to make sure that you are giving additional structure because that has weakened the structure of your fibers. Not in a bad way. Sometimes you have to be weakened in order to be made stronger. I don't know, maybe I'm getting philosophical today. Okay, so you just turn this around, line up the frame, and put it down. This is a very simple but easy and fun way to take a card from one level and step it up a couple degrees. Now, it's less paper even, but it's a little bit more technique. And I love the look, don't you? If you wanted to add a little bit of sparkle, I would do so maybe to their noses with our clear wink of Stella, because a nose and a little eye should always twinkle. Oh, I like that a lot. Maybe her ears too. I don't know why. Sometimes you have to stop. As Coco Chanel says, take off the last accessory you were to add on. So that's it, people. It's a simple, easy, fun card, sure to wow, easy to do. And I can't wait to show you when I create with that cast off of this shape here. I love it so much. So what I did was I die cut this out before embossing, and I put the two pieces back together, and then I embossed it in this embossing folder. That gives me that versatility. Oh, I did want to show you my favorite little addition. See our new tool, polka dot ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and lift up right where I did not put, and I'm going to thread this through. Do. I am not a perfectionist, y'all. And people ask me all the time, how do I tie my ribbons? In my card making classes, I'm often handed the ribbon because people don't want to tie it. I do tie hundreds of ribbons every month. So all I'm going to do is I want that polka dot to peek through. So I'm going to pull this to the side. I start tying while it's attached. Then I use our paper snips and I fold the ribbon in half. Do you see me folding it there? And then I'm going to go from the inside fold out. That's going to give me my fancy little flare right there on the end of the ribbon. And this is a way to soften it, especially with that great little koala in her pouch. And then you can fluff, you can play with the way it lays, you can even use a glue dot to hold it where you want. I'm going to fold this one in half. And then I'm going to come from the outside in to create that flare. Throw away that pretty little bit. And now you have a little sassy tied bow that I think takes the project up a notch. If you wanted to adhere it down so it stayed right where you were, I would really just take a glue dot and pick it up. I do use my fingers. I'm going to put a little dot right there. I'm going to take the tool and kind of bounce it so it leaves a little round pouch right there. And I want to show you a secret. So I'm going to do the other side as well. I like to boss my ribbon, but not let people know I'm bossing it. It's kind of like my husband and children. I like to tell them what to do, but make them think that it's their idea. Am I alone on that? So we have a little bow here. It's really just a double knot. What we're going to do is take our embossing buddy. This is a tool, and now the glue dot is still sticky through there. I'm going to just kind of pat the embossing buddy on the top of that, just like so. And now you have a sweet little bow on the side of a sweet little card. You can fluff it, and it's going to be raised. It will mail perfectly, and it looks fancier than it is. I hope that you enjoyed this sweet little card, taking it up a notch. Tell me which one you like more. Do you like the crumb cake trees, or do you like just the plain white? The great thing is there's a lot of versatility with this, and you can have your opinion. I think it is free. I hope that you enjoyed this. Check this out on my blog at gettingcrafty.net, and don't miss our many in-person and online classes, as well as our weekly Facebook Lives where we do crafting every week. Check it out at facebook.com/gettingcrafty.net. I'm thanking you for joining me. Have a great one. Bye.